Hello and welcome to the Rose Rehash. Every week after the Golden Bachelor, I play the live stream here, and then we do an episode recap. Tonight was the Fantasy Suites episode, part 1. So you're going to get my live stream of tonight's episode, and then I'm going to do a recap. So enjoy the live stream. I'll be right back. Here we go. One man who probably doesn't do oral. 2 women who probably won't climax. Let's do it! We're here in Antigua for the Fantasy Suites.
I can't believe it. We're in Antigua, and it's unbelievable. I'm so excited.
Mel always sounds like
everything special in Antigua.
He's doing the voiceover on an 8th grade video project. Wow, we're here in Antigua. Antigua exports many fruits and vegetables. And in conclusion, my family and I had a fun vacation during the February break. Cue your friend who went to Antigua once on a family vacation, who's going to tell you that it's pronounced Antigua and not Antigua, even though nobody has asked or even got it wrong to this point. They're going to feel the power flowing through their veins one more time with a correction that doesn't even need to be made. This is a very dramatic way to bring in the women on helicopter. They're like, bring in the pussy. Cindy's here for her mission. She's like, I'm here to bang a personality-less mannequin into marrying me. Where is he? Where's the man I want to sit next to during Michigan football games in silence? Where is he? It looks like they're assembling a ragtag group of misfits to do a heist. Like, Peg looks like she's getting off this helicopter to rob a Sephora. She's like, I'm getting all the face cream. I'm never putting another dime into aloe again. They show Mel going into his suite. Usually people are excited and like ooh and ah at the mid-tier Marriott suite they're let into on this show. Not Mel. He gets in there and immediately checks the sliding doors. He's like, okay, let's see if these slide freely. Don't want to hurt a rotator cuff. And if it doesn't, I got some WD-40 in my bag. I can spray it up and get it moving quick. Nobody looks more I have WD-40 on my person than Mel does. And then he does a brief scan of the beach.
So
just making sure the scene's okay. Like, he's like, okay, sunset looks all right. Doesn't look like it's going to hurt anybody. I'm going to head into the room and I'm going to stare at a wall for an hour. Mel and Jesse have a little football catch to chit-chat. And again, they're talking about comfortable shoes. That's all Jesse and Mel talk about is shoes. And, I mean, I would assume Jesse's run out of things to talk about with them. He's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I got shoes, and then he'll do 3 seconds of, yeah, they're really comfy. You should wear them, and then we got nothing. I'll bring a football. At least we can play catch, and that will kind of break things up. You get a beer, and Mel drinks his beer like an alien inhabited his body and is trying to act like a real human. Here's how you can tell they have very little to talk about. Jesse's about almost done with his, and Mel is on his first sip. When you have nothing to talk about on a date, straight to Sip Town.
I've noticed you haven't yet told either of these women how you feel about them.
I mean, that's not normal for Jesse to insert himself. He's like, you haven't said how you feel about them. This is a show where we talk about our feelings. You're in Antigua to propose or something, maybe? Maybe saying how you feel about them would be important. All you've talked about is your footwear, and randomly you'll do the McDonald's jingle from the late 2010s. Da-da-da-da-da, I'm loving it. And it gets awkward every time, Mel. Can you talk like a real person to these people? Can we try? Jesse pushes Mel.
You don't have to be in love with someone to tell them how you feel about them.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think they both deserve to hear from you how you feel about them.
And I feel great about that.
I mean, Mel is about to tear Jesse. I thought you were on my side. I thought you were a bro, man. Didn't we just play catch? I told you where to get my orthopedic shoes from. Lay off of me. I'll tell him how I feel in the way I want to. Jesse is like a big sister's dream. Like, literally talking to their fiance, like, what's going on here? I've never seen Jesse get involved like this.
This is the window, obviously, because it's overnight, and that means privacy.
I mean, every time he talks to Mel, it looks like Mel's like translating his head. He's like, overnights. Sex? Penis, vagina?
It happened naturally.
Yeah.
And this is the way I am.
That's the most boomer thing Mel has said to date. This is the way I am. That's like your dad when he wears sweatpants with no underwear to go out for dinner. You're like, Dad, come on. Like, you can't wear sweatpants. This is the way I am. So sue me so you can see the outline of my balls. Who cares? This is the way I am. This is how I go out to dinner. What are you, got to be fancy to go to a Olive Garden? This is how Mel is sitting while getting grilled about the two women he's dating who he hasn't said any of his feelings to.
And I got
just
my
a stone.
heart broken.
And look at
And
Jesse.
so I won't tell someone
Jesse is sweating his off. Jesse looks like the one who's been dating two women at once and has to make a decision, not Mel. Jesse looks like he just sat in a sauna fully clothed. He looks like he just ran the New York Marathon in his linens.
Love them again.
And Mel is just dry as a bone. Mel's like, well, good luck. Better go change your shirt. I wouldn't be looking like a nerd out here on the beach. Mel finishes his grill sesh with Jesse and then goes to his balcony to glare at the ocean. I mean, is he mad at the waves? Why does he look at the beach? I mean, this looks like a dad who went on the family vacation. His two sons got too drunk at the bar last night, and now they're sleeping in and they're wasting a full day at the beach, and he's mad about it. That is the face of my sons are about to hear it about their tequila shots last night. This guy is angry. So we go to Peggy's room where she's doing the most unrelatable vacation stuff I've ever seen. She's unpacking and taking out her jewelry case. Peggy and I vacation in two different ways. I'm out of a bag in the corner like a sniper who's there to do a job. She's got dresses on hangers. Then we go to the beach with Peggy. Is the hotel empty? This is no beach hotel I've ever been to.
Don't know how he feels.
If this was a beach that I was at, every chair's open. Where's the Jewish woman who's standing over the chair going, get away from my chairs, I was here at 3 a.m. Where's that person? If I'm Cindy, I'm a little bit upset with production. Peggy got the unpack in her room, put on some makeup, go to the beach shot. Cindy has the stare off into nowhere as if you're looking for love that you can't find edit. Like, what is she looking for?
The day that Mel can drop all
so she just has to, they're like, go to the beach and just look off sadly. And then, no, this is not the edit I would want. I don't want, this is embarrassing. Hey, who's Mel? Where's Mel? Like a random passerby. Oh, that's the guy I'm dating along with another woman, and I'm just hoping he'll get engaged to me. But will you marry me is 4 words, and he's used to 3-word sentences, so I don't know if he can really get there. We're here for the Peggy one-on-one date on Fantasy Suite Week. And they're like, hey, Peggy, I know we're in paradise and there's a beautiful ocean, but go stand out in that deserted parking lot. I mean, this looks like the Lion King after they didn't get any rain for a bunch of years. Like, if this is not this is not the date I would want. I don't want to do the date at the beach vacation that involves no beach, no drinks, no ocean. Yeah, just go stand out in that weird area that teenagers hide their beers at and drink and do bonfires late at night when their parents are asleep. Mel shows up in a dune buggy looking very much like his mom put him in that seat and put his seatbelt on for him and made him wear a helmet. Truly don't understand this show's obsession with the dune buggy date. They do it every season. It's supposed to show them being vulnerable and getting adventurous. if I'm in Antigua and I see a family in the lobby being like, yeah, we're doing the dune buggies today, I'm like, oh my God, thank you, Lord, I am not in that family. Thank you, God, I am going to the beach and I'm asked to do nothing.
I love this.
They're going to have to take an hour bus out to the dune buggy. They're going to have to take an hour bus back from the dune buggy. They're all going to have their back sore from this. No, this is not what anyone wants to do on vacation.
So much fun.
Oh, yeah?
And for some reason, The Bachelor decided this is the height of getting to know one another. Mel is really being cautious with the dune buggy.
Don't beat old grandpa. Put the pedal to the metal, man.
And Peggy's not having it. I mean, if this is how he handles the dune buggy, how's he going to handle you, Peggy? This is fantasy suite night.
I'm used to being in control.
I don't know if women are looking for careful and cautious.
It's been a...
Look at, you can see the wetness draining from her eyes. She's like, okay, I guess this is who he is. I guess I shouldn't expect him to even get on top. Fuddy-duddy Mel gets out of the driver's seat, and Peg is like, let me take control here. And Peg is like, let's get it. Oh, Melly baby, you're in for a night of your life. Like, this is Mel realizing he's about to have the sexual adventure he never realized was coming. He's like, oh my God, should I lube up my ass now or later? Or, oh my God, look at, he's liking it. He's like, maybe this hurts so good. Oh man, Peg's gonna show me a world I've never known. Peg is really riding this dune buggy. The dune buggy's probably even turned on. I've had threesomes before, but nothing like that. Peg's hands were everywhere. She's laughing, she's screaming. Mel just kind of sat there and didn't do much, but Peg, she had such strong hands. She grabbed my wheel in a way I've never been grabbed before. Oh my God. What a woman. Finished their date on a bench with some champagne. Mel's has to hurt after doing a dune buggy and then getting a bench dragged over from the local prison. This is one of the worst benches that The Bachelor has ever presented us with. This is a big bench show. Always a bench waiting for a couple to have a champagne on. And this one has... that looks like they took the top sheet from the hotel and dragged it over to put on top of the bench. This bench, I would be like, no, I need a new bench. You guys, I know you got 10 in the U-Haul back there. Bring out a new one. They get to talking. Peggy says
You passed the test.
that he passed the test.
If you pass that
After
test...
she was grilling me.
Yes.
And Peggy's daughter, I think we need to interview her. Did Mel pass the test? He just talked in circles
He did.
while the daughter was like, yeah, he's a nice man.
You know...
He's a nice man, I don't think is passing the test. Peg's daughter lives rent-free in Mel's head, I promise you that. Don't you dare mess with my mom. I will fucking break you. I will ask why you got a divorce over and over again and in many different ways and forms. If you mess with my mom, I will find you. I will go to your home and I will ask you uncomfortable questions about your feelings until the day you die. Peg is open and honest and vulnerable.
It takes me...
She also can't say the word vulnerable. Listen to how she says vulnerable.
And that's why it's so scary to be vulnerable.
Vulnerable. I don't even know a portion of the country that says that word that way. She's vulnerable? Does she know there's a U and an L in it?
It takes me time to trust somebody. So
I don't think Mel is being vulnerable or vulnerable.
I have a huge, big heart.
But
it takes me a while.
You got to hand it to Peg. She is just talk, giving them everything. And Mel just sits here and says, sure, cool, totally, fun. This is everything you need to know about trying to get through to Mel. Listen to this. She asks, how are we doing?
How's this thing going with us? Good?
How's it going with us? Good. How do you feel about it? Good.
Yeah.
How's the dune buggy?
Now he's talking dune buggies. That is not what Peg wanted to hear. How we doing, us? What do you think of us? Dune buggy? Okay. So you want to talk about the dune buggy? Cool, yeah. I'm sure we can figure out if we're going to get engaged tomorrow or not later. But let's talk again about the dune buggy.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Look at, she's even laughing.
And I don't know if it...
And he's like, what are you laughing at? What's so funny? You asked how we're doing. I said good. And then I said dune buggy. That's a normal way to talk about your feelings, right?
Or he's just being guarded.
She's trying to get him to open up.
To meet your boys. They're coming in.
And then she says, I'm excited to meet your sons.
On you.
So that she can get the down low on him. Peg, you think it's tough to get something out of Mel? Wait till you meet his college-age sons who, when you say, what do you think about your dad going on a dating show, they're going to go, TikTok, protein powder. Peg, I think this is all you're going to get. We head to the nighttime portion of the date. The Calypso band is playing. Mel has a third button undone, so you know he's ready to party. And look, there they are dancing. I mean, that's a view into the future, Peg. It's going to be you moving around while he kind of like shuffles side to side. I mean, Mel looks very much like a guy who had a stroke a year ago, and this is a victory trip for how well rehab has gone.
I'm a little nervous because
he ain't moving too quick.
Be vulnerable.
She just said vulnerable again. That is not... Has someone informed her? Can we find the person who corrects anyone who says Antigua? Can we find that and get them to talk to Peg
and to be,
about the word vulnerable?
Before I go to the fantasy
because she's not saying
I'm doing really
the
good.
right word even. She's like on the corner of the block, but she's not even... She's not in front of the right house. I don't think Mel's all here.
Yeah.
Why?
Exceeded all my expectations.
Why?
Coming into this.
She says this exceeded all my expectations, and then Mel asks why. I don't think anyone goes on a dating show thinking they're definitely going to be the one falling in love, sitting on the beach in Antigua, maybe getting engaged within the week. Like, Mel, do you know what's going on right now? Why? Why did this exceed all expectations?
Going to be.
She went on a TV show thinking this would be nothing, and now she's maybe getting engaged. Do you know you might be getting engaged? Do you know what might be happening, Mel? Peg brings up a prenup.
Prenup first.
And then just laughs over what would be like a moment to have a real conversation. I think this is why Peg went so far. Her laughing during uncomfortable conversations really makes him less uncomfortable. She's like, you're going to have to sign a prenup. As Mel's sitting there, he's like, yeah, I'll laugh with you. Women with a prenup. Come on. I'm a man. We're the ones that make you sign the prenup. Don't joke with me. Like, they don't even have a conversation about why she would want a prenup or why it would be needed and where the money is all coming from. No, just one big cackle fest. Peg asked an important question.
How do you feel about us?
How do you feel about us?
I'm thankful that you've given me the opportunity.
I mean, that was the longest pause. You do not want that type of pause after you go, so what do you think about us? I thought Mel died for a second. We got to go back.
So how you feel about us?
I mean, is he okay? Maybe Mel just acts like he had a stroke every time a tough question comes up. What did you say? He says, thank you for giving me the opportunity to show you how I feel about you. Does Mel think he's at a first interview at a hedge fund? Thank you for the opportunity for being here. Thank you for the opportunity for maybe letting me touch your boobies tonight in the fantasy suite. I'm appreciative that you've given me the time and the cleavage for me to maybe look at before I go to touch them. Thank you. So Mel presents Peg with a letter. Let's see if we can zoom in on that. This is his invitation to the fantasy suite. Let's see if we can get a better look. So Peg, in full boomer mode, uses the candle to light the letter so she can see it.
I think yes.
And she says she's in. She says yes. She's like, I will climb Mel Mountain. And Mel, in perfect Mel form, gives her not that much. He says, okay, let's go. Time to go. Check is signed. I am ready to climax. And they head off. I mean, this handhold, this is very... Is she leading him to the hospital after taking a few first steps after surgery? Here we go. Into the fantasy suite. It's decorated with the flowers on the bed. Oh, man. Here we go. Time for Mel to show off what all those hours in the gym are for. Then they go to check out what's going on outside, and the Calypso band is playing. This cannot make Mel happy. Look how mad he is. Peg's like, isn't this fun? He's like, I took the Viagra pill an hour ago, and I generally only have an hour left to get Papa Mel going downstairs. Oh, he does not seem happy at all. He's like, get out of here, shoo! They realize that the band is playing Casey and the Sunshine Band, and they're like, oh, that was our one date we had to talk before this date, before we get engaged. So that's our one memory. And then they go off to make sweet, sweet old people love. And both of their children will forever be scarred. Then Peg does a lot of sexual innuendo jokes. She says, don't come a-knockin'.
Don't come a-knockin' if it's a rockin'.
And then laughs over the uncomfortable silence there would have been. And then there's a lot of pressure on Big Papa Mel here. She puts up the do not disturb. If I'm Mel, I'm like, yeah, we don't need to put up the sign. It'd be pretty weird if someone knocked on the door in the 2.5 minutes at best that we will be a-rockin'. We come back the next morning. They show the birds. They show the bees. They show 2 turtles making love. This is crazy. Kind of insulting for the producer to be like, oh, go look at those 2 turtles are having sex. Get that on video. We'll show it the next day after Peg and Mel have sex. It's just like them. Moving slow and kind of achy. If I'm the turtle, I'm kind of pissed. And then look at, they show the shoes off, clothes on the floor. Oh, here's how you know it was a wild night. Orthopedic shoes. Ooh, now you know things got wild. Maybe one of them got up to take a pee in the middle of the night and didn't turn on the lights. Things got dangerous. The producers of The Bachelor will be hearing from our lawyer. We are a happy couple. We're here on our anniversary. We're just having an intimate night. Suddenly, the cameras are coming into our habitat and showing us making love? Me being intimate with my wife, and you guys need to have your cameras on me? I will not have this. You will be hearing from my lawyers, ABC, The Bachelor, the producers, whoever the camera guy was. I am angry. You try to have one night.
Off camera.
100%.
Yeah, but it was good though. That
Yeah, it was really nice.
Mel and I may not have the same body, but we do have the same conversations in bed with a woman the next morning. It was good though, right? It was good, huh?
Well, we needed those
right?
conversations for sure.
And then she's like, yeah, the conversation was good. And I'm like, yeah, but like the conversation added to like how good it felt, right? Right? Mel then brings over a breakfast fit for royalty.
Who she is?
There is no way he's eating any of that stuff. This is all him over here. And that would be the reason that we'd probably break up, him and I, if I were, because you can't have this at his age while eating that. No, it's going to be a boring
a lot of similar
morning with
experiences in
Mel.
life.
You can't lay like that and be
I think
eating the
helps,
stuff on the
helps
right.
that connection.
Look at,
It
he's
helps
even
with that
thinking about it.
understanding of
He's
it.
like,
Filled in some of the gaps.
he's like,
Exactly.
I guess I'll just
Yeah.
get back on track tomorrow. I'll have my whey protein tomorrow. You can tell this is in his head.
It's like all the heavy lifting.
He'd really like to be having egg whites, but he's got to act like he wants the pastries this morning because he's on a date night. So Peg won't leave right away, so you got to do the move where you're like, let's go for a walk, get out of here, so that you can make it easier to go your separate ways after the night you spent together. So now he's got to do the walk. He's still holding in farts from the night before. This is really tough on Mel. He's got to do the full walk on the beach, no farts, for almost 14 hours. Now finally he gets some relief. And she watches him walk away. If I was him, I'd be like, yeah, get out of here. You go that way. I'll go this way. Like right about now, he can start farting. Right now. He's far enough away, but she's still watching. She's like, goodbye, I'll miss you. He's like, yeah. Because he still has another person. If you listen closely, you can hear it. Like right now, there is a massive amount of farting going on. Now we're on the Cindy and Mel date. They get on a boat to go look at stingrays. Today's really important. Mel's wearing a necklace that I think is a microphone. Cindy, again, with jewelry that a friend made for her and she had to wear to make the friend happy. It has to be. Because this looks like something your toddler makes for you in 5th grade. And you're like, because this is not feel Cindy. This feels like friend of Cindy who has an Etsy page that Cindy is now somehow an investor in. We get to the stingray spot, and Mel can't believe how big the stingrays are. He thought they were going to be the size of a cheeseburger. Mel, have you watched anything other than Michigan football? Like, who doesn't know that a stingray, this is a stingray, classic stingray. Nobody thinks they're smaller or bigger than that. I think we're all like pretty much on board with the size of a stingray. The guy at the stingray place informs them that they don't have teeth. What they have is a very strong suction. But they have a strong suction, and Mel is a stronger man than me. You can't mention suction on the day of Fantasy Suites and have me just not make a joke about that. And Mel holds strong. You can see even the camera like went right in on him. Like, here it comes. Here comes a blowjob joke. Mel's like, no, I ain't breaking. You think you can get me? Look, he looks directly into the camera. He's like, you think you're going to get me on a suction joke? You think you're going to get me to say something lewd about suctions and stingrays and blowjobs? Mel gets afraid of getting stung.
About everything. But I'm not really a stingray type of guy.
He says he's not really a stingray type of guy. Oh, yeah, we're all... you know that group of guys that are big stingray guys? Mel, what are you talking about? Mel's not a stingray guy. He's not a talk about his feelings guy. He's not a have a joke guy. He's not a fun guy to be around. You know, Mel has a lot of rules. Mel is truly fearful of the stingrays. He stays as far away as possible. He gives it a pinky. Mel treats stingrays the way he treats conversations about getting serious and being in a relationship and maybe getting engaged. He's like, I'll keep it at arm's reach. I'll look at a relationship from afar, but we don't have to get any closer than that. Cindy is really trying. Listen to her.
Quite the adventure.
Yes.
Like, how many times are we going to get to do this?
Because, that's not even a real conversation. How many times are you going to get to do this? Well, they promote stingray petting at literally every hotel in the Caribbean that you ever go to. So you might have a couple hundred opportunities to go swimming with stingrays. But she is trying. And then look at Mel.
Yeah.
This is Mel in response to her. Look at us doing our once-in-a-lifetime thing. He's like, yup. This is a whole lot of fun and laughs. Look at us. Like he gives her zero, not even a smile. She tries to get him to open up and listen to Mel.
Thank you for those
kind
words.
Thank you for those kind words.
I like you a lot.
And then he says, I like you a lot. Like a 5-year-old would say, I like you this much. Does that get you to stop asking me questions about what we're going to do in the future? This is really like pulling teeth.
Yeah, I'm an open person. We'll continue.
Okay.
Mel says he's an open person, then full silence, and then says, we'll continue. So you're not an open person. I mean, here's the difference between Cindy and Peg. Peg laughs over all of these awkward moments. Cindy, she just lets the dead air play, and we all have to feel it.
Cheers.
My stomach is about to turn inside out with all these quiet moments that have Mel saying zero. Cindy starts off the nighttime portion of the date by asking really good questions, and Mel really has nothing. And then Cindy just doesn't say anything. It's the best strategy I've ever seen on this show. Because Mel feels like he has to fill the space. Look at it.
That's the truth. But I love spending time with you.
He's still going.
You're sharing, caring.
Now he's rhyming. Sharing, caring, daring. You're wearing earrings made by your friend named Herring. I don't know. Please say something. Please. So that I don't keep going and I don't say something stupid. Cindy now asks the scariest question any man can get on a date. You ready?
There it is.
Can I ask you a question?
That is the scariest question you can get on a date. Can I ask you a question? Because what's he going to say? No. I'd be like, I got to go to the bathroom. See you later. And then I'd be out the front door.
You wait to get married.
She asked why he waited to get married in his first marriage. And now watch what he does. He tries to kill himself. He tries to strangle himself. He immediately puts his hand to his neck. He's like, maybe this is a better option than answering this question. Cindy's asking about Mel's timeline, and he's basically saying, I want to take it slow. This next sentence is crazy. Ready for this?
Casually, like, oh, get married, I love you, okay, let's get married. Oh, that didn't work out, that's 5 years. I'll do another one. Oh, that worked out for 10 years. All of a sudden, you're 15 years in, you get 2 marriages.
That was a weird math word problem that he just did. If you get married and you do it for 5 years, and then you get a divorce, and then you do another marriage, you do it for 10 years, now you've been married for 15 years, and you've had 2 wives. Yeah, Mel, nowhere in there did you say anything about how you feel about Cindy. And she's looking at him like, okay, that word salad tells me everything I need to know. It doesn't sound like you're ready to get married this week, so maybe we should be talking about other things. Cindy finally says, what do we do from here? And Mel says that if there's a will, there's a way. Mel, who spent the whole time speaking in fortunes you'd get from a fortune cookie, continues that trend with if there's a will, there's a way.
The question, is there a will?
And that's where Cindy asks the question, is there a will? And he's like, is there a will for me to jump off this dock and swim away? Yeah, I think I got a will to do that. Is there a will for me to give you the fantasy suite invitation and we can start getting naked and knocking boots? I got a will for that. And he just stares and says nothing. That's it for me. Go share. I'll be back next week for the finale. Share the ones you like. Tell a friend. I'm on the road. I'm going to be in Milwaukee and Minneapolis and Chicago, Charlotte, Durham, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. Come to a show, JaredFreid.com. Okay, so we got the Fantasy Suites episode, really part 1. We're going to get part 2. It left us with a dramatic conclusion of Cindy and Mel sitting at their nighttime portion of the date, basically do you want to come home with me on the date? And this episode could really just be called Mel the Brick Wall, because he wouldn't give anything. Mel is showing that, and I don't know, if you're going to, because to me, this is interesting. To me, watching a man who as a single man myself, I see a lot of things that Mel does that I'm like, man, that is a move that I have pulled. That is me stammering and blubbering after getting asked a really good question and not having anything more than, I really like you to say. Like, I've been there. So this isn't me saying I'm better than Mel, or this isn't me hating on Mel. This is me just saying, I think it's interesting to watch this. To some people, this is not what they came to this show for. They didn't come to see a man, and I think when I say to some, I think to the majority of the audience, they want someone who's positively sure that they want to leave this show being engaged and so swept off their feet in love that they get on the magic carpet and they fly away. And I just don't think that's like a normal thing. Like, again, I'm a little bit more cynical, but that's why Joey Graziadei, I think a big part of the reason he's so beloved. He came on this show knowing who he was, what he wanted, didn't think of really and a lot of the post-show stuff with Joey was like, does he have any money? And Joey doesn't seem to be concerned with that. Joey's like, I'm going to be happy and in love, and that's it. Love will conquer all. And I do think love will conquer all is just not a very male thing, because we're seeing that with Mel. I mean, this episode was a huge example. I do find it interesting, but I do think a lot of people were probably watching this. I think Mel angered the base of this audience tonight, where he may have just run the whole audience away. Because if you're watching this and have dealt with a man who can't tell you how he feels, which is a lot of people, they are probably looking at Mel being like, this goddamn piece of shit. Because it was just a full hour of Mel reading, lines that he read off of a fortune cookie. Love will conquer all, not that line, but will be. And do I have the will? Well, there's a will, there's a way. That's how he ends the episode. So we start the episode going to Antigua. I think I have been to Antigua. It is a beautiful island that you don't really hear a lot about. Sometimes when I watch the show and I wonder, was this a good investment from the hotel and the tourism bureau of the island or wherever they went? I think this was a 10 out of 10. It looks beautiful. I mean, if I'm Antigua, I'm a little upset with the date choices. It was a little basic. It didn't really give you a feel of the island. Antigua's a beautiful place, and you saw that here. It kind of looked empty. It looked like, and I think, obviously most of these, episodes that end up at a resort, it's empty, but this one felt more empty. It just felt like there was nothing else around, but that's what people could be looking for from their vacation. I think if I'm Antigua, I got my money's worth. I'm happy with what happened. And if I'm Antigua, I'm like, look what we got. You're all going to Turks and Caicos and it's $1,800 a night to stay at a hotel. Come to Antigua. I would be very curious. I am curious as to how much a weekend in Antigua is. And listen, it sounds like I'm being paid by Antigua now. I am Team Antigua. I would say, to me, that is something to be noticed, and it was noticed by me. So now we have Mel arriving in Antigua, and him and Jesse are going to hang out and throw a football, because that's what dudes do. In the course of Jesse talking with Mel, the big difference between The Bachelor and Survivor is how in the mix the host will get. Probst is in there. Probst, rolled up the sleeves. Let me ask questions. Let me be probing. Jesse is really Switzerland for most of this show. Jesse to me, this episode is more invasive than Jesse has ever been. He's like, hey, Mel, you're going to have to reveal your feelings. And Mel's like, well, I love you is a big deal. And he's like, you can tell someone your feelings without saying I love you. Jesse sounded like a sibling to these women. And it sounded like production had said to Jesse, hey, this guy's got to say something. There is an engagement coming. This is what this show leads to. It felt like nobody knows what Mel is going to do. It felt like in this episode when because Jesse, not someone who asks these questions a lot, it felt like they all kind of were wondering, not just the women, but production and Jesse, what's this guy going to do? What does he think this show is? And we get that towards the end, to skip ahead a little bit, but he does say this is about finding a partner. And it feels like what Mel thinks he signed up for is woman who will go places with me, woman who will hang with me. And That's just not enough on this show. I don't think that's what the base of the audience isn't looking for that. They're looking for swept off their feet, a love that all of us wish to find. And that's not what Mel's looking for. And I think that's going to enrage people. I'm not enraged by it because I'm just someone who comments on the show. I don't really get like moved by the show in that way. But I will say it was noticeable that Mel is like, he's kind of looking for what every divorced man is looking for. No problems. I don't want to get myself in any issues. I got this life that's pretty calm right now. I had that divorce back then and I'm a year out and it was a 4-year divorce and let's just be on easy waters. Just a friend looking to hang. And then he goes on the date with Peggy and Peg is really the what it seems he's looking for. She is going to be fun. She's going to be the energy. She's going to pull his hand, drag him on the dance floor. And they go on this date. They do the dune buggy date. I don't know what producer was convinced that a dune buggy is somehow the trust fall of relationships. Like, this is where we learn about one another. This is where we see someone get uncomfortable and the other person care for them. I don't know. We do a lot of dune buggying, and I don't find it to be very helpful for getting to know them. I mean, we see here that Mel's very cautious and Peggy is ready to drive and go crazy. And it's like, yeah, I guess that did show us something, but I wasn't really like surprised by that. It didn't really get them talking. You can't talk. Oh, hey, let's put on helmets and, drive around on this lawnmower and try to get to know each other. It's like nothing happens there. So then they go to this like cliff and they drink champagne. And we see that Peggy's trying to get answers. She's trying to find out, how do you feel about me? And there's one exchange that is actually crazy. She's like, so what do you think about me? And he's like, I like you. And dune buggy? And you're like, what, Mel? Are you a robot that got a little water in it and you just malfunctioned? Like, it was absolutely nuts. And then Peggy's like, well, I guess I can't wait to meet your sons. I'll get all the answers then. So Peggy does this thing where she laughs over any uncomfortable moment. And that's kind of what Mel's looking for. He doesn't want to have to deal with reality. So Peggy's laughing loudly enough through these uncomfortable moments, and it's allowing for Mel to get away with stuff. Because for her to say, I'll get the answers from your son, ha 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 ha, it's like, what? No, you're not. You think the sons are going to be more open and vulnerable than their dad, who's not open and vulnerable at all? The sons are going to be college kids, college men. I don't know, Fortnite. What are they going to say to you? What are you meeting? A lot of Gen Z people with these interpersonal skills that they're going to be able to, let you know what's going on in their dad's life? That's not going to happen, Peg. What are you talking about? So then we go to the nighttime date, and the fantasy suite, the nighttime date gives us nothing again. He doesn't say much. He gives her the note. They have fun. That's all we know. They have fun. And Peg's going to laugh during the uncomfortable moments. She even says, like, you're going to have to get a prenup. You're going to have to sign a prenup. And it's like, that's like a very big topic of conversation. Then she just starts laughing maniacally. And you're like, Peg, what? Should we get into the prenup thing? Do you have a lot of money? Does he have none? What's going on here? What do you mean he's going to have to sign a prenup? She's like, I don't want you taking my shit. What do you have, Peg? What does he not have? What don't you trust from him? And, anyone with a prenup will be like, oh, it's not about not trusting. It's not about this, not about that. But it is, listen, that is a hot button issue that if she's bringing that up, and which is totally understandable at that age, it's a deeper conversation than just laughing through it. I don't want you taking my shit. What? And Mel is there to laugh about it. Mel doesn't care. Makes it easy on him. They go to the fantasy suite. They get to the room. There's a calypso band outside playing in front of the room. I think this was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious to just, you're a guy who's like got the woman back to your room. She's she's happy to be there. Everyone's happy. Oh, we're all consenting adults that are about to have sex. And it's like, there's a guy outside playing a steel drum, and I'm like, oh, get out of here. What are you doing? Like, we were about to start making out. This is all about to happen. I don't need any speed bumps.
Also, you have the band just outside the room, like everyone else in the hotel is like, it's like they're just like playing. They're like, they're having sex. 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 In this room, you will find the couple from earlier today that was getting drunk, having sex. They're having sex. They're having sex. They're having sex. Like, it's like, I just think it's really funny to have this band. Like, what are you guys doing out here? Oh, that couple over there, they're having sex in there. So we're playing. So they go back, they wake up in the morning, they show turtles banging, they show the birds and the bees, they do the whole thing that the Bachelor does. You say goodbye at the beach, it's a big goodbye. To me, because nothing is talked about, because Mel won't open up, it was just two people on a date that had a good time and, made out after. Like, there was really no new news here. We go to Cindy's date. Cindy, they're going to go on Cindy, who the whole show is just, up to this point, is just looking off to sea. They're basically setting up an edit where Cindy is got a lot on her mind. That's what they keep kind of pushing, is that Cindy's off, in turn, is in deep thought on the beach. Well, does Mel like me as much as I like him? It feels like Cindy is attached to an idea more than she is a guy, because she is convinced they have all this stuff in common, but I don't know if it's shown on screen. I don't really see it as much as she does, but she sees it. She is goo-goo-eyed. She is in. Mel, I think, checks a lot of boxes for her and what she's looking for, and now she's obsessed with the idea of a guy like Mel. I don't think that they really have a lot in common. They haven't really talked that much. I don't know. It feels like Cindy is like on step 1,000 and we're all sitting on step 5 being like, how'd you get there? Because they go on the boat and you can see her questions are very like detective-like. She's asking a lot of questions. He's giving nothing. The boat, she's like, well, how do you feel about me? He's like, he's always speaking in riddles, nothing really of substance. They go to the stingray thing. He's standing away from the stingray. To me, she took that as he's afraid of stingrays. I'm taking it as he's getting farther away from you. He's not being, again, this is a moment to go, I'm really afraid. I've all I can think of is, the guy from, the Australian guy, with the kids that are in Dancing with the Stars. Like, I don't know. What's his name? Whatever his name is, Irwin. Steve, all I can think of is Steve Irwin getting stung by a stingray. And I don't know, are we going to die? And the guy's like, we haven't had a bite in 24 years. And like, he doesn't really go to her. He kind of like goes off on his own and deals with it on his own in the side of the water. To me, if I'm Cindy, I'm like, well, we didn't really connect on me taking care of him that much. And she even says at one point, she's like, well, you were in the deeper part of the water, so I couldn't even stand over there. It's like, well, isn't that by design a little bit? So they have this weird stingray date where where he's afraid of the stingrays. Mel thought the stingray was the size of this coffee cup. I don't know who would ever think that. I don't know what Magic School Bus episode he was watching. And then they come back to the nighttime portion of the date. And even before, they're showing Cindy looking in the mirror. It feels like this is Cindy's dream that we're living in. And then she starts asking questions, and Cindy really does act like a detective. She has like formed a case. She's like, and she brings up his ex-wife, and she says something that we didn't know. She's like, it took you a long time to get married to your now ex-wife. What took you so long then, and why would it be any different now? Which is a very good question. Mel then goes into how big a decision this is. It's like, no one's saying it's a small decision, but it is a decision that you're here to make. And he's like, well, no, it's about finding a partner. It's not about getting engaged. And it's like, well, I'm looking to get engaged to someone who loves me so much that they love being my partner so that we can kind of move on with our life. And he's like, no, I'm looking to sit in this purgatory, we're dating and we're getting to know each other phase. He basically says that. And then he does this weird math equation. He's like, I don't want to just get married to someone for 5 years and then get divorced and then marry someone for 10 years. And now you're 15 years in with 2 wives. It's like, what word problem did we just do? What are you talking about? Yeah. If you marry two people in the course of 15 years, you'll have two wives. I don't know what you're even talking about, Mel. Like, it feels like, and where Cindy, the reason Cindy's getting a lot more answers, and you could see at the end, she's like, I'm happy to hear your perspective. Like, you could see her, she wants answers, and I think it's to snap herself out of love with him. I think she's going from, and that was kind of the big reveal at the end to me when we, next time on The Bachelor, it was her saying, you could feel her energy change. And this is my thought. This is my opinion. It felt like in the beginning, she's like obsessed with the idea of Mel and, oh my God, we can have this love and we met in this weird way. And look at, he's this and he's active and he's got his own thing going on and I got my own thing going on and I'm active and we'd be a great couple. And then she gets to the reality, and that's via his answers, because she doesn't laugh through the uncomfortable parts. It's always uncomfortable with Cindy because she's asking good questions, and then he's forced to just talk. And I think at the end of this episode, she kind of heard the answers, and that's why we ended the way we ended with will they, won't they? I don't think they do. I think she's going to say, I've gotten the answers I needed, and this won't go beyond us just being me and my friend Mel for eternity. And I think that's what Mel's looking for, to be the boyfriend who's called the friend by the kids, and they wear fake wedding rings, but they never actually make it official. That's my opinion. Fun episode. I always love Fantasy Suites. We'll be back next week. Boom.